Hey guys, I'm Martin Cliffe and welcome to Martin's Monday pedal playthrough. In this series I take some of the pedals that are in my collection that aren't on my current pedal boards and play them with some more conventional sounding instruments so that you can get a feel for them. And hopefully as I come to sell them, I've then got video demos for them as well. Now, chorus on bass is an effect that isn't used a vast amount these days, particularly not compared with the 80s when it seemed to be used on everything. But as an effect to have in your arsenal, it's a really cool pedal. So this is the MXR Bass Chorus Deluxe, which is a chorus with a whole lot of extra features. I've got it set with, it has a bass control and a treble control. I appreciate it's a little bit hard to see the colours in this light, the intensity, and then your standard rate and width controls. The LED actually, which I appreciate you can't see because of the barefoot button, but it's not a particularly bright LED, it's red, and it pulses at the speed of the chorus, which is kind of cool, but it does mean that it's difficult to see on a dark stage, particularly if you have a pedal board full of MXR Bass Innovations pedals, because some of them have those brighter than the sun white or blue LEDs that you can see from space, whereas this is much more difficult to see. But if I turn it off, so you can hear the clean sound. I've got the bridge pickup all the way up. I've got the neck pickup most of the way up. Turn it back on. Now if I turn the intensity up and add the width to like halfway, intentional wrong notes there, but that's definitely giving that kind of sound, the famous Nirvana riff. So it will do your, it's another thing, even with the rate at 3 o'clock, it does go fast, but a lot of the travel is on that extreme end of the knob. Which to me works for bass, because bass a lot of the time, if I want chorus, I want it to be fairly subtle. And if I turn the width control up, that's starting to get a little bit seasick sounding. But one of the cool things about this pedal is there are two extra features. There is a crossover, and what that does, if we turn it on, again a really dim yellow LED lights up, that lets some of the bass frequencies through. So you kind of, so you don't get as much warble on the low end, but then the higher frequencies are much more affected by the chorus. Bass and the treble, I think, just control how the overall tone of the effect. Yeah, so it adds a bit of thickness if I turn the bass up. And obviously just controls the brightness of the chorus there. If I turn the crossover back off again with the bass all the way up, the treble all the way down. That's pretty hard to work out whether you're in tune or not at that point. So the crossover, definitely a good thing. The other little button converts it from a chorus to a flanger. Now, the main difference between chorus and flanger is that the delay time on a flanger is much shorter and you get more kind of internal resonance as a result. Let's reset those tone controls. Here the intensity kind of becomes more of almost a resonance control. And again, that crossover feature really comes in to preserve the low end. So it has all the scope to be a really prominent effect, but it can also be quite subtle, even with all the knobs at 12 o'clock. With the crossover feature on the flanger mode is pretty subtle. As is the chorus. Let's plug in the P-bass with flat wounds. It's a higher output bass, see if it has any real impact on the tone. So even with a more powerful bass, it's still quite subtle at that point. If I really just want to thicken up the tone slightly, let's take the width and the intensity down. Just adding a little bit of movement to it, back into chorus mode. And then I have some settings that were clearly my preferred settings last time I was using this pedal on my board, which is bass at 11, intensity 11, width at 11, and then treble and rate at about 130. Let's just test those out. Probably with the crossover in. So by default, this is quite a subtle effect, which is kind of what I personally would definitely want in a bass chorus pedal. It's cool that it also has the flanger function, and it can go crazy if you want it to, but generally for kind of the 12 o'clock settings or thereabouts, it's a nice and subtle effect. Very cool, worth trying out.